All right, in the video you have today, if you see cuts where at one point I'm here, and then I'm here, and then I'm over here, and then I'm scratching my head, just know that we shorten the video for your viewing pleasure. Make sure to hit that like button, and let's go. All right, take 4 of this 1 quarterback dynasty mock draft with 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end this time, and 14 bench. With me today to help with this draft, picking in the number 3 spot, is Matt. Matt, ready to do this again?
I am as ready as we've been for the other tries here.
All right, you're picking before me for the first time on this try. So let's get after it. You're going to get yourself a top running back, and I'll probably be looking at wide receiver when it comes to my first pick. But let's jump into the draft, and let's kick it off.
All right. No surprise. Okay. Well, Kamara's a bit of a surprise there, but Christian McCaffrey certainly is not. So for me, this is a pretty easy selection for me. I've got Dalvin Cook as my number 2 running back and number 2 player. So we are going to go with Dalvin Cook. There's no real need to overanalyze this pick.
Quite the change of perception on Dalvin Cook, because I remember at one point you thought he was an injury-riddled piece of trash.
That was 2 years ago.
Exaggerating a bit, but you did not like the injury situation. Now you're fine with it. So good. Happy that the two of you kissed and made up.
He's had 2 really phenomenal years, so yeah, we're good. But this,
okay,
to me, this pick also guarantees that I have to take Madison somewhere down the road here.
Who you do like very much.
So it looks like you're looking at Nick Chubb here.
I am. I'm just looking at his finishes. So he's been 8th and 11th. Last year, I know he missed 4 games, so he's been pretty solid. But yeah, and I'm taking my guess at 7. So I was just making sure that I was getting accurate value on him. Wide receivers here, I'm not taking him. I feel like A.J. Brown is a bit of a reach. I think that Nick Chubb probably ends off this tier of running backs before you get the gap to the next guys. Mm-hmm. But surprising pick for me. He's not somebody that I would usually target if I was doing a dynasty auction, because I think he would go for too much. But at 8, I'm going to go with Nick Chubb. It's still run first team, and Baker sucks.
This is still something that I think you would probably look at least trading back here too, right?
Yeah, if I had the opportunity there, I would absolutely trade out of that pick and let somebody come up to grab probably Justin Jefferson or A.J. Brown if they want to take him that high, and then get myself a couple more picks. In this position, again, don't love the Ezekiel Elliott pick. But Devontae Adams has fallen to the 2nd round, and that I can't pass on.
And kind of middle 2nd round too. That's very strange.
Yeah, so that's something I can't pass on. So I will take Devontae Adams, a top 3 wide receiver, regardless of quarterback. Still has several years left to play. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys at Sleeper. Thanks for taking Patrick Mahomes in the 1st round. Do not do that in your dynasty draft with 1 quarterback, all right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're picking real NFL teams, absolutely Patrick Mahomes, but no.
Yeah. But no, you can find quarterbacks anywhere. And Matt and I are going to be playing reverse chicken to see who can wait the longest to grab a quarterback in this draft, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be
double digits
at the top here. Yeah. So yeah, this is a spot here where I actually like quite a few of these players. Wow, there's even a couple running backs and wide receivers I really like here. So I feel like I'm going to get a couple of the guys I really want. I think one of us has taken him in every time we've had this option here. I will take Calvin Ridley.
But you took him.
I took him at 1 point or
2.1. So yeah, basically 10 picks earlier because of the situation that Calvin Ridley now has with Julio Jones. Could be the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy this year. And it looks like you're going to get another player you really like, because 2 tight ends that I know you weren't going to pick.
Yeah.
You're not a big taker of tight ends this early on. I'm sure you would have taken Gibson had he been there, or at least considered him.
I would have considered him, but I'm my top running back that I had left is still sitting there.
And it's Joe Mixon?
I know I'm higher than most people, but yes, I still really like Joe Mixon. He is still only, 24 years old? A lot of miles left on him. I'm going to take Joe Mixon, but other names I still like. I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I like McLaurin. I like Michael Thomas. Like, there's good options here.
And I'm hoping I can get one of these players to fall to me at my spot.
So Joe Mixon, come on down.
There goes the quarterback. Like to see it. Okay, so it looks like Michael Thomas for me. It's Josh Jacobs is there as well. So this would be this spot where if I've been able to trade away and possibly get a pick around here, like if Team 7 had traded me and I would have ended up with these 2 picks and possibly these 2 picks while giving up a 5th or something, I would have happily taken that and given him whoever he wanted here, and I would have taken Adams and possibly Calvin Ridley here. And then coming back here, I would definitely be getting Josh Jacobs, and then I would probably be getting Michael Thomas. Yeah. And I would prefer that because I'm getting 4 players earlier than I would. Now it's a toss-up between Josh Jacobs and Michael Thomas. And although I probably have Michael Thomas, it's not probably, I have Michael Thomas higher, I am looking at the drop here in running backs after Josh Jacobs and what I can get on my team to fill my roster, and there isn't much. Like, I am not going to get a solid number 2 running back if I don't take Josh Jacobs right now. When it comes back to me, I don't see Montgomery being there. Maybe Etienne is there, but then it's the drop. So I have to take Josh Jacobs in my mind here. Michael Thomas goes right after. Yeah. So a bit surprising that Miles Sanders has come back.
Sort of, because I just don't like him.
No. And I mean, the injuries have been there. They drafted Kenneth Gainwell. They're looking to pass more. They've made it fairly clear that he's not going to be the bell cow and it's going to be more of a committee. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, none of these wide receivers jump out at me and say, you have to pick me. Like, I do like Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans. These are guys that I'm fine with. But the running backs, it's going off a cliff pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a position that I know has less depth, and I'm going to go with Miles Sanders. And if it doesn't work out for him in Philly, he's still 24 years old. So he's still going to have a couple years after he leaves Philly if he ends up leaving Philly. So very interesting team for me, at least I'll say. Like, Chubb and Sanders wouldn't be guys that I would normally end up with and would trade out of those picks. But I don't think I would trade out of this Sanders pick just because of the value that I'm getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, as much as we kind of rag on him because he's just not.
Still has talent.
He's a risk. He's just he's still a very talented player. It's kind of hard to know exactly how Philly's offense is going to look with Jalen Hurts versus like Carson Wentz, but no, it's pretty solid still. There's a couple of wide receivers I like here. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm not taking tight end here. The running backs there's still a couple there that I would consider, like Carson or Williams or Hunt. But I like some of these wide receivers just a little bit more here. So I'm going to take Amari Cooper.
I like that pick.
And Keenan Allen is another one, and T. Higgins, okay.
Why is T. Higgins going so high in these drafts? I don't understand it.
He's a good player. He's second-year player.
Okay, but let's look at some of the wide receivers available. Kenny Golladay is there.
Yeah, Galladay's like 27, and that's just going to scare people away for whatever reason. Unless I don't think you like Ayuk better.
No. And I get him over Devonta Smith, but then I don't get him over Cortland Sutton is pretty far down there in case you haven't noticed. Mm-hmm. Like when you took Judy in one of our practice attempts, Cortland Sutton was still nowhere near. You couldn't even see him.
He was like at the very bottom of mine, I think.
Yeah, he was like the last line.
Yeah.
So I just don't see T. Higgins' value being that high. I could see it if they hadn't drafted Chase, but I don't see them being in the same round. Especially with Tyler Boyd still existing.
Yeah, and he's still very good. But like you had mentioned in a previous podcast we had, that all 3 wide receivers last year in Cincinnati had over 100 targets. So they're all going to get theirs. Now of course, it's back up to me here. I'm really just debating between Javonte Williams, Kareem Hunt, and I just double checked my rankings. I do have Williams higher, so that is the way I'm going to go here and get my third running back. After Kareem Hunt, there's Williams and Hunt, and after that, I think that it's taking a big dive down. So you're going to get probably not a running back here.
No, and there's still a lot of depth at the wide receiver position that could come back to me, especially with guys I just talked about like Sutton. So I think you know where I'm going to be going here. I'm going to be going with my TJ Hawkinson pick, one of the players that I really love, because I see him, if you were to draft him next year in a Dynasty League, he's going to be in this third round. He's going to be ahead of Waller. He's going to be ahead of Andrews. He'll be around Pitts. Kelsey might fall, but he'll be up there. So I'm getting a player whose value is only going to go up, and he's going to have a fantastic year this year. And he's still very young. 24, I bet? 23, even better. All right. Welcome to the team, TJ Hawkinson.
This is not tight end premium, just to remind everyone.
So the running backs have gone. The last couple guys that we're to look at here, there's really not much left for running back, so it's going to be wide receiver here. And I'm just looking at my team.
It's still a little too early to look at quarterbacks.
For sure. So I'm only looking at wide receiver right now. And I'm thinking it's Julio Jones. I know my wide receivers aren't very young with Julio Jones and Devontae Adams, but I'm putting myself in a good situation to win this year with this team.
Yeah. You're for sure more of a win now team right at this moment, yes.
And again, I'm not old other than Julio.
Yeah. I mean, Adams is 29, so he's older, but a couple of interesting guys in there that just went. Noah Fant, most notably. I don't really get that pick too much right there.
It's a bit early.
Mm-hmm.
Like the player, but based on the rankings and everything else, should have been at least next round.
Yeah. So for me here, it looks like it's going to be – there's still some wide receivers that are pretty good down here, but I'm going to take a wide receiver regardless. We're going to go with – I'm debating here, but I'm going to go Deontay Johnson. Still very young. I think he's in the 24 range as well. Yep, 24.
Yeah, I don't get the Chase Claypool ranking over him. I guess it's the age that they're factoring in, but I would.
What's that? 2 years? Yeah, it's not significant. If you're debating between a guy that's 23 and 25 or 22 and 24, I would throw that out. I mean, both of them are going to be good for 6-7 years yet. So don't really worry about that too much. And yeah, Deontay Johnson is my pick here.
Adam Thielen goes. How do you feel about that pick?
I would not like that pick at all. I feel like you probably could have got him at least 2 rounds later at minimum.
If not 3.
Yeah. Even last year, he was going pretty late in Dynasty picks.
And his 2020 season was very touchdown dependent. So if those touchdown numbers come down, or if the defense gets better for the Vikings, they don't have to pass as much as they did, you could be looking at just the cliff fall that is coming.
He did lead the league in
red zone targets.
Touchdown targets, I think.
Touchdown targets?
Yeah, end zone targets, I guess I should say. With 25.
Yeah, I mean, it's not saying he's bad there, but that's also kind of the first time in his career that he's had that many, so he's had that opportunity. And
is that offense that good that's going to support Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Irv Smith is going to be coming on too, so.
Yeah, and to me, it has to do with the defense, right? The defense was atrocious last year, so they were forced to have record numbers for Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. Will that happen again? I don't think the defense is going to be as bad as it was, so expect more running, less passing.
Mm-hmm.
So who are you going to pick?
That's a good question. Who am I going to pick here?
Are you going to pick your boy, Odell Beckham Jr.?
No, I'm a little off of Odell right now. I've kind of got it's definitely not tight end yet. It's not tight end time for me. It's definitely not quarterback time either. So it is still running back, wide receiver. Running backs haven't changed much, as you can tell. There's just a couple of guys that have just Ronald Jones since my last pick has gone.
Would you, because you have Williams, take Melvin Gordon to guarantee that you basically have yourself a part of a starting situation there that you can kind of flex every week? Or do you still think it's too early for Melvin Gordon?
I think it's still too early for Melvin Gordon. I would consider him a little bit later on down the road, though.
Okay, so you think he might come back to your next pick?
Yeah, I think so.
But it doesn't look like it based off the rankings. But who knows what people pick from quarterbacks that go flying off the board.
Yeah. I'm going to go with a guy that we talked about a little bit already, someone that I still think has lots of talent. And you had talked about me taking his teammate Jerry Jeudy in a previous draft over him, but now the ADP is lining up here. So I'm going to take Cortland Sutton. Not too scared about the ACL. Players come back from that all the time nowadays.
And so DJ Chark goes right after him. I would have liked to have gotten either DJ Chark or Cortland Sutton in that round. Looking at running back, I don't really need a running back. I have 3. I got my tight end. So it's wide receiver, and it's between Odell Beckham and Deebo Samuel. And in order for me to determine what I should pick, I'm going to head over to blueduckfantasy.com. Check out my Dynasty wide receiver rankings. We also have rookie rankings, and coming July 1st, we will have redraft rankings, so get ready for that. And it looks like they are 1 spot apart, and I have Odell Beckham at 30 over Deebo Samuel at 31. Both guys come with some concern after the injuries to Beckham, and then did Deebo lose his number 1 spot? I will take Odell Beckham. I will actually hope that he gets traded so that I get more value out of him somewhere where he isn't playing with Baker Mayfield.
I mean, they've got Jarvis Landry there. He's a good quarterback too.
Yeah. So my wide receiver age is up there.
Yes.
So I'll be definitely looking to grab some younger guys further down, but this win now team continues to acquire top end talents. So there goes Melvin Gordon. He did not make it back to you. And it is back to me. And I'm looking at these wide receivers, and nothing really excites me about the group that's going right now. But there is a player that does jump out to me for my win now team, and that's Mike Davis, the running back in Atlanta. Yeah, I'm probably only getting 1 year out of him.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a pretty good year since he really has no competition there. And they do like to pass to him. He had a lot of pass catches with Carolina last year. This goes into my team. He is an older back, 28. So I'm going to take him, and I'm looking to win this year. Welcome to the team, Mike Davis. I just don't think Tyler Boyd's that much better than the other wide receivers there to justify taking him over the rest of this group. I think it's like there's enough depth there, whereas the running back, yeah, I mean, I like Zach Moss, but just wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually the name I was looking at here just because I've got 4 wide receivers already. Not really looking for my 5th one at this point. And I could definitely use another starter, and I think that it will be Zach Moss over like Devin Singletary or anything like that.
Are you debating tight end at any point here?
No, I think this group of guys, like actually, just like he went. I didn't realize that he went. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of Irv Smith would be next.
And that would be my pick too. And I like Irv Smith, and I know you like Tunyon, who can also be started at wide receiver in Sleeper.
Yeah, I don't get that early,
but after that, like, is Evan Ingram reliable? I don't think so.
Kmet, Troutman.
You would need both those guys to really take a second-year leap to be startable after that. I don't believe in Logan Thomas. I think that was more of a factor of the Alex Smith situation.
Yeah. That's I think that there's more there at tight end. So I'm gonna take Zach Moss.
And also a reason to not take tight end there, the 2 teams behind you have already taken tight end. So that is definitely something to keep in mind when you are drafting, is what everybody else is taking. So they're not going to take a second tight end. It's not tight end premium. So now you have a chance to get the player that you wanted, and you can take tight end here if you like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at Irv.
there are only 2 teams that need a tight end other than you. That'd be Team 6 and Team 9. And I'm pretty certain if you don't take Irv, that one of them will take it.
Yeah. Just looking if there's any wide receivers that really jump out. I definitely know there's no running backs that I would take right over him right now, but I'm going to take Irv Smith Jr. Big breakout candidate here. Oh, wow. Look at the quarterbacks go.
Okay, and we have the worst pick of the draft so far. That's Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
And that's because they already took Lamar Jackson.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure what your strategy is there. It would make sense if you had taken – I mean, even the Josh Allen, Trey Lance doesn't really make sense because you're going to have a hard time trading a quarterback in a one-quarterback league. Mm-hmm. And if Lamar Jackson – if you had taken Aaron Rodgers and Trey Lance, that would make some type of sense because you got an older guy with a young upcoming guy. Yeah. But you have a bona fide top 5 guy in Lamar Jackson and a top 10, top 5 guy in Aaron Rodgers.
Right. And if you're worried this much about Lamar Jackson possibly getting injured, then you wouldn't be taking him at 5.4.
Exactly.
So silly team 4.
So I'm just going to take a peek at quarterbacks. I see there are still plenty of names, and now I will no longer look at it. We are in the 9th round, so soon enough will be time to be taking these quarterbacks. I'm assuming I'm going to go wide receiver here.
Yeah, there are still some decent names there.
So Jarvis Landry fits my win now, but I don't want 2 Browns wide receivers. I don't particularly care for Will Fuller. I absolutely hate Marquise Brown. Cooks is okay, but I think I'm going to go with either Terrace Marshall or Elijah Moore. And again, checking my rankings, I do believe I have Elijah Moore 1 spot ahead of him. So I will,
because of the age on your wide receivers, you need to grab somebody younger for sure.
Yeah, so that's why maybe this is a bit of a reach at this point, but I don't know why. I'm going to go with Terrace Marshall, probably just because I'm going to target Denzel Mims, and I don't want to get 2 Jets wide receivers. So I have them 1 spot beside each other. In a rookie draft, in a team that didn't have Denzel Mims, I would probably go Elijah Moore, but I will probably try to get Denzel Mims at one point. So Terrace Marshall will be the pick here. Getting younger, and there goes another quarterback. Team's stacking up on the quarterback. There goes Moore. There goes Landry.
Like Watson could be okay there. I mean, obviously his situation is very much up in the air, but
yeah, so that's where you're getting some value from the pick.
But then they took Joe Burrow the round before. So are you?
The safe pick and then the upside pick is the only way to explain that.
Now you're back up on the clock here. What are you thinking here?
I'm still not thinking quarterback.
No.
I'll let everyone take a backup quarterback, and I'm not overly excited about running backs. All I'm seeing here are handcuffs. So it's probably going to be wide receiver, but I just don't know which one. So again, going to reference my rankings, and like my next guys would be Mims and Edwards.
Those are both reaches at this point.
Yes.
And just because you have them ranked that high, you still have to factor in ADP a bit, that you can get these guys a couple rounds down the road for sure.
Man, I don't know. I feel like Jalen Reagor's not a bad pick here, but I also don't mind Michael Gallup. Just going to check the age difference. I think Jalen Reagor still has some potential. Didn't really get a full season to prove it. Yeah, I think I'll go with Reagor simply because my team already has the type of Brandon Cooks type players that I don't really need.
Okay.
So I will go with Jalen Reagor.
Big wide receiver run there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not surprising given who's kind of sitting there at running backs. That's just not a very strong group right there.
Is it Alexander Mattison time, or is it?
I feel like I can at minimum get him on 11.3. He's 7th running back on the queue right now, and I know that not everybody goes directly by that, but there's gonna be some people that go above him for running backs wise. I think he's just more valuable to me, being that I've got Dalvin Cook. But I do see one of my old favorites sitting there. He's kind of calling my name a little bit. Do you know who that is?
Your whole favorites?
My old favorites.
Your old favorites.
One of my old
Mike
favorites.
Williams. It would be Mike Williams.
He is still sitting there.
Who is nowhere near any of my favorites.
Yes, I see that actually. You're quite down on him.
I mean, I don't even know is he going to get another contract after this one?
I think so. But I don't know if I'd be able to grab him later on. There's just not a ton here that I really like, to be honest with you. But you know what? I'm not going to take Mike Williams. I'm going to take a different cuff on a running back that I trust a lot less than Dalvin Cook at this point. That's Tony Pollard. And so, yeah, like I thought, Madison's still going to sit there. And I can't really run the risk of Madison falling any further. I don't think I'm going to get him at 12.10. So I would probably look at trading back here and hope somebody's trying to move up for maybe Kadarius Toney or Denzel Mims like you, or Mike Williams. But yeah, I'm going to take Madison. It's a bit of a reach. I understand that at this point, but it's
a necessary reach for you, though.
Yes, the value is too much for me.
Yeah, and you got yourself two of the best handcuffs in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue three if you calculate Javonte Williams as a handcuff.
So I'm okay with that. Didn't talk about him much, but I really like Pollard. I'm not sold on Zeke. I think Zeke is still good, but it's Pollard showed it last year. He can do it too.
All right, I'm not going to go Mims yet, just because I don't think I can pass on Devontae Parker being at this point.
That's fair.
Another older wide receiver, but
I mean, I would be pretty surprised if Mims doesn't show up back at 12.5.
Yeah, and I'm just taking a look at running back to see, nothing overly exciting. And I don't really need to start loading up on younger tight ends because I have a younger tight end, as do you. But if you had a Travis Kelce, this would kind of be the time where you'd be looking at a Cole Kmet or a Troutman's here. So,
yeah.
Devontae Parker, welcome to the old wide receiver core.
Yeah. But you got Marshall and Rager there. So, I mean, yeah, you've got some youth there too.
I'm just watching the board, hoping. And Denzel Mims does come back, so this is just going to be a quick pick.
There
goes Mike Williams.
Mike Williams, yeah. It's too bad. He almost came back. That would have been nice for me. But okay. Okay, I can make do with what's still here. Which isn't a lot.
Is quarterback starting to call your name yet here in round 12?
A little bit, just because of lack of options at the other positions. No, just looking at the names here, none of those guys are really calling my name yet. So I'm gonna go back to. I have to take a wide receiver. I've only got a couple. I've got 4.
I have 7. You have 4.
Yeah. And I've got lots of running backs.
I went 4 running backs early, and my last 4 picks have been wide receivers,
which is not bad. I mean, there's a lot of depth on wide receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, the depth at running back falls off a lot quicker than it does at wide receiver. Sorry, at running back falls off a lot quicker than it does at wide receiver. There's Amari Rodgers.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a smidge early for him.
Based off the flex rankings, he's like a top 10 pick there. Yeah. And I don't mind Gabriel Davis, but you're looking wide receiver? Yeah, you're looking wide receiver. A lot of people like Darnell Mooney. Antonio Brown, if you're looking for a wide receiver that can start for your team.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go. Yeah, I'll go Gabe Davis. You can see I'm not that enthusiastic about it, but it is what it is.
And it says Amari Rodgers is the number 1 wide receiver left. If you're looking for another wide receiver, also has Antonio Brown.
It says that, yeah. I mean, I like Campbell, Edwards. They're both higher than Rodgers in my rankings.
And I mean, T.Y. Hilton is there.
Yeah, that's somebody for your team, I think.
I think I have enough of those. I think after getting Parker, I can't go Hilton. I have 4 guys over 27 that or 27 or older that are just raring to go. I can guarantee that Paris Campbell won't make it back to you.
Yeah, that's actually who's up on my screen right now. Yeah, I mean, he's my next.
And of course, if you want to check out Matt's rankings, our Dynasty rankings are labeled by our names. So you can sort by Matt's rankings to see where he has everyone, sort by mine, or you can just sort by the rank overall. Blue.fancy.com.
I did go Paris Campbell. So I got a couple of young wide receivers at my turns there just to get a little bit of depth in that position. And guys that went after.
Kind of what I need to do, right, is to get some young wide receivers. So Amari Rogers, probably not the next guy on my list, but he is a guy that I do like. And he is being told to me by everything that he is up here. And I'm just trying to see if there's any. No, I don't even think that there's anybody on my list that's higher than him that's still available.
Maybe Brian Edwards.
Yeah, he would be the only one, but it's not his time yet.
No. And again, this falls back to ADP versus rank, right? I mean, you know that you can get Edwards later. Like guys like that lose their value when you take them too early.
So I do think that we are, I don't want to say cheating a bit, but I do think that we can probably wait on quarterback even longer because every team has 2. And I doubt they're going to take a third. Like there's literally no team that doesn't have 2. Oh, except for team 1. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So there is a chance that team 1 could take a quarterback. Looking at quarterbacks, I mean, my teams win now, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take quarterback here, and it's going to be Tom Brady because he's a fantastic win now play. Last 6 or 7 weeks of the season, he was QB5 overall, I believe is a stat. Really had some good numbers. So if you check out the quarterback buy video, he was somebody mentioned as somebody to buy if you're on a win now team, and that's exactly what my team of old wide receivers is.
Yeah, and just none of these guys that are going right now have any, like, they don't excite me at all. Like Keyshawn Vaughn, maybe. That's still a maybe.
It's very much a maybe.
Tight ends even, like there's not much.
There's not much left for tight end unless you're worried that Irv Smith isn't going to work out, and then you take Rob Gronkowski, but at the same time, he's dealing with several other people.
And he's just, I just don't think Gronk's that good anymore. As much as I don't like to go back-to-back Colts here, I think someone that's going to be good this year anyway is T.Y.
Yeah, I mean, T.Y. is still around. Nobody wants him. There goes a quarterback. So now you're the only team without a quarterback.
Ooh, exciting. You know what? I mean, I know you're probably targeting him too, and I apologize, but I like him as well. You know that. I'm going Brian Edwards, round 15. There's just nobody else that I was really that interested in right there.
So if the running backs video comes out of Dynasty running backs to buy before this one, this is a player that I want to buy simply because of the situation where he is and how big the share is for whenever one of these Miami backs gets the ball, they get it 20 plus times a game. It is not a committee whatsoever, but it is whoever's the lead back gets it all. So I'm going to take Salvon Ahmed here. This is kind of where in the draft I start looking at just getting as many like younger running backs that I can and hoping that one will hit. I have enough wide receivers now that I'm going to focus on running back.
Okay, and a lot of running backs went after you and a couple of wide receivers you probably weren't considering.
Penny and Mack were some running backs that I was considering. I definitely wasn't considering the other ones. Not even saying the show.
I was actually saying the wide receivers are probably guys you weren't looking at there.
No. So again, I'm going to go with the youth upside here, and I'm going to take Darrington Evans. Just getting some running backs on my team, adding depth to it.
I thought James White made a lot of sense for your team.
I don't think he did. I have 4 starting running backs that don't need older veterans there. I need younger guys and hope that they hit. And you took Carson Wentz?
Yeah, I did.
Mac Jones-Wentz was the player that I was looking at getting because of my quarterback's age.
Actually, a good thing I took Carson because two quarterbacks went after me, so that worked out a little bit. Worked out well. Much as I don't really care for the depth at tight end, I'm going to take another one.
Another Jordan Love?
Another Jordan Love.
Another quarterback named Jordan Love?
Oh, no, I said a tight end.
Oh. I said you didn't care for the depth.
I don't, but I said I'm going to take another one anyway because I feel like if I don't now, there's going to be really nothing left. And the trade for Julio doesn't excite me that much, but I'm going to go Anthony Ferkser. So your move on the rest of these tight ends if you want one. Jarwin was the other one I was considering, but I mean,
I'll just take upside.
I don't know. Brevin, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not ever going to need another wide or a tight end, so Gerald Everett doesn't make sense. There goes Jordan Love. I think at this point I'm forced to go quarterback here. And I think I have to go with Winston because of the fantasy points potential that he can bring. But I'll also be looking to get more quarterbacks later on, just making sure there isn't anybody that I'm going to be missing out on at wide receiver that I really like. AJ Green fits this team so well.
Yeah.
And there seems to be a lot of wide receivers still. Like I would really want someone, so I'll take Jameis and see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat with you. I need to take another quarterback probably as well. And I
feel like Derek Carr fits your team, right? Because if Wentz doesn't work out in Indy, which I believe he will, you have yourself a safe play with Derek Carr. But you could also look at Ryan Fitzpatrick as a 1-year play and then look to get another quarterback or get yourself a younger quarterback later on.
I like Carr more, obviously, than Fitz. So I'm going to go Carr, but I am a little bit worried about his shelf life in Vegas as well. But in round 18, oh well. Gamble. Okay.
So down in the last 5 rounds here.
Yeah. It's really just kind of take who you want at this point.
Yeah. So you're going to take who's going to fit your team. Do you need more depth? An Emmanuel Sanders or an AJ Green make more sense. Or even a Brashad Perriman, who could be the number 1 in Detroit.
I like this guy, and I might be reaching a bit, but in round 19, I don't care that much.
I don't think it's a reach at this point.
No. N'Keal Harry, lots of talent. Bringing in Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar don't really scare me that much there. Jacoby Myers would scare me of most of anybody.
So I think I'm just going to go with this.
Okay, sounds good.
Benjamin as a player that I like.
Mm-hmm. I did scroll through and I saw his name and I thought, well, that's probably going to be your pick.
Yeah, Tim Tebow going here is not a good pick.
Tim Tebow. That's someone that you take as a joke.
A player that flashed at times and has looked really good is Donovan Peoples-Jones. So I'm going to snag him right now.
Okay.
Just looking for Preston Williams is still available. That's interesting.
But with bringing in
Fuller for a year,
Waddle and Fuller,
get
pushed down. I'm gonna go for the guy that led the league with highest yards per catch. Do you know who that is?
Travis Fulgham.
No. Marquez Valdes-Scantling.
I had no idea.
There you go. again, that's going to be something that's probably going to be better this year than this, and then we'll have to see where he ends up after this year.
And that's only if Aaron Rodgers is still around.
Correct. Now that I agree, that's a player that if Aaron Rodgers is not there, then that value probably takes a hit versus someone like Devontae Adams. I like this player. Again, it's not really a huge need for me, but I'm just kind of taking guys I like. I like Harrison Bryant, tight end for Cleveland. I'm going to take him there. I know there's guys in front of him like Njoku and things like that, but I like him. I think he's going to eventually take over there. And I think Njoku's on his 5th-year option this year.
I am going to continue with running backs here. And I'm going to hedge on my Najee Harris not being as good as people think he is, and Benny Snell not being very good, and take Anthony McFarland.
Benny Snell.
No, it's PPR league, right? So Anthony McFarland could have some value here. 12-team Dynasty league, Tyler Johnson kind of makes some sense.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I mean, Scotty Miller also makes sense. I do like Andy Isabella, but I think he's fallen out of favor. I do like Marquez Stevenson, but he'll probably be a free agent that I can pick up. So I'm going to go with Tyler Johnson. Higher ceiling than the other guys that I talked about. So last 2 picks for Matt. There goes Njoku, who is a player that I do like as well.
Yep, I like him too. And I thought about him when I took Bryant, but I just think the long term is there for Bryant more at this point. Njoku could easily be very, very good pick there, though.
Were you aware that Thaddeus Moss is in Cincinnati?
I do recall hearing something like that, yes.
He's now back with Joe Burrow. It's exciting for that tight end position in Cincinnati. That hasn't been good since that 1 year that Tyler Eifert had.
I'm going to go with another one of my older favorites, which I have gone way off of, but I think I need a little bit younger of a quarterback here. I'm going to go to Drew Lock.
Good pick. Somebody that I would have looked at.
That works out there for him if they don't trade for Rodgers or anything funny like that, which is a big rumor. Let's I bring that up. And last pick, I'm going to go with someone more on talent, and he may easily just get cut out of training camp. I'm going to go Justin Jackson.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to look at my roster breakdown. I think I have 8 running backs, 10 wide receivers, and then 2 and 2 on the quarterback tight end. I'm pretty fine with the 2 and 2 because, well, I mean, quarterback over tight end would be a position to look at. But nothing here kind of stands out as to something that would fit my team.
Like in a year or two, you could be having to draft a quarterback and starting that same player.
Yeah.
Not like a quarterback in round 23 is going to change anything for you anyway, but.
No, and I mean, like, honestly, the player that would make the most sense for my team would be Dwayne Haskins because he could be in line to be the starter for the Steelers, but I also don't think anybody's going to draft him. I mean, Cam Newton is still there. Cam Newton is a guy who can be a starter in this league for a period of time. Tyrod Taylor may be the starter in Houston come week 1 and might not have much competition to other than Davis Mills, who I'm assuming has been picked. So I'm not going to go with a quarterback, even though I possibly would make sense. I am going to go probably running back here.
You're scrolling down pretty far there. I just saw a name you would probably like.
Yeah, I'll go Justice Hill. I know he's the third guy there, and he doesn't really have the future, but he is. They want him more pass catching, and Gus Edwards isn't going to be the guy pass catching. So in a PPR league, I'll take the guy who's most likely to pass catch. And again, he could end up being cut anytime now from both my team and from the Ravens. And that concludes the draft. Make sure you comment on some players that you are looking at targeting in the later rounds and some picks that we did that you liked or didn't like. And make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. That's going to wrap it up. Tough to do a recap on the team since they are so deep.
Yeah.
My team has older wide receivers, but 4 startable running backs, an older quarterback. So the quarterback situation, as Matt mentioned, might be looking to be turned over in a couple of years. Matt, your team?
Yeah, I think I've got a pretty good mix of win now versus win later. Like, it's not like I've got super young guys, but they're all like 24, 25-ish. So they're going to be good for 3 years or so anyway. So I'm fine with that. Yeah, I mean, Cook, Mixon, Ridley, Cooper, Deontay, I'm fine with those 5 guys for another 4 years anyway. Maybe a little bit less on a couple of them, but close.
Matt, you gonna say your thing?
I will say my thing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you did both.
That's it.